What is NATO? When it was established, with which vision, purpose, and objectives, its foundations laid down, its background, its present roles and responsibilities, and its futuristic vision. North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The source of this informed and insightful lecture is in NATO's official website and our insight as a scholar that enrich your conceptual understanding with enriched historical underpinnings of NATO as an organization. The foundations of the NATO Brussels headquartered military and political organization were officially laid down on April 4, 1949, in the backdrop of Cold War polarized geopolitical world order. With the signing of North Atlantic Treaty, more popularly known as the Washington Treaty in diplomatic sphere, the most important player in the NATO are the member countries themselves. It is to be noted that established with 12 founding members, United States of America and Canada from North America, and 10 European states. It reflects its transatlantic geostrategic vision and structure. There are currently 31 member countries in NATO, as Finland joins NATO as 31st ally on April 4, 2023. NATO is an alliance of countries from Europe and North America. It provides unique link between these continents, enabling or creating a conducive environment to consult, cooperate, collaborate in fields of defense and security, and conduct multinational crisis management operations collectively. Its crisis management operations are carried under Article 5 of the Washington Treaty or under United Nations mandate. Article 5 of North Atlantic Treaty or Washington Treaty constitutes the core of collective defense of NATO. As NATO is committed to the principle that an attack against one or several of its members is considered as an attack against all, that is enshrined in above described Article 5. Example: Article 5 has been invoked in response to the Al Qaeda designed, launched, malicious and severe 9/11 terrorist attacks in the United States of America in 2001. North Atlantic Treaty that consists 14 articles. Its Article 5, core of collective defense, is derive its legitimacy from Article 51 of United Nations Charter that permits defense alliances, means NATO's foundation is not contradictory in principle with the United Nations mandate, revolve around establishment of peace and security collectively. Its strategic concept laid down the line's core tasks and principles, its values, the evolving security environment, and the alliance's strategic objectives for the next decade. The example that exemplifies strategic concept of NATO is the 2022 strategic concept. NATO as a political and military organization or alliance. In political context, NATO promotes democratic values, institutions, and enable its member countries to consult and cooperate on defense and security related issues to solve problems, build trust, and in the long run prevent conflict. In a military dimension, NATO is committed to the peaceful resolution of disputes. If democratic way or diplomatic efforts fail to resolve any dispute, it has the military power to undertake crisis management operations. These operations are carried out under the Collective Defense Clause of Washington Treaty, NATO's founding treaty. Its Article 5, or under UN mandate, alone or in cooperation, collaboration with other countries and international organizations. NATO's decisions is the expression of the collective will of all 31 member countries. Why? Since all decisions are taken by sorry, since all decisions are taken by consensus. If we talk about the working structure of NATO, it consists of NATO delegations, the nuclear planning group, the NATO Atlantic Council, subordinate committees, NATO agencies, the Secretary General, and military organization and structures. First, NATO delegations. Each member country has a permanent delegation at NATO's political headquarters, Belgian capital, Brussels. Each delegation headed by an ambassador who represents her or his government in the alliance consultations and decision making. The nuclear planning group has the same authority as North Atlantic Council in context of nuclear related policy issues. North Atlantic Council at heart of NATO, principal decision making body. Each member country has representation at NAC. It meets at least once a week or whenever the need arises. NAC chaired by Secretary General enable, help, assist member countries to evolve agreements on key critical pivotal issues. Secretary General is the NATO's top international civil servant, also its chief spokesperson, and heads organization's international staff. Secretary General responsible for steering the process of consultation and decision making within organization and ensure that the decisions are implemented in an effective way. Now, Secretary General or current Secretary General, 13, 13th Secretary General is Norwegian politician Jens Stoltenberg. Since 2014, serving NATO. The implementation of political decisions has military implications. NATO has very few permanent forces of its own. When North Atlantic Council, at heart of NATO, decides to launch a operation, member countries, key players of NATO, contribute military forces on a volunteer basis. Example, International Security Assistance Force in Graveyard of Empires, Afghanistan. NATO's Vilnius Summit, July 11-12, 2023, in Baltic State, Lithuania, in backdrop of Ukraine crisis, disruption or weaponization of supply chains, threat to threat of stagflation due to deepening COVID pandemic, recessionary onslaught. When Alliance was formed in 1949, 12 members from Europe and North America. Since Alliance Since then, 19 countries joined Transatlantic Collective Defense Organization through 9 rounds of expansion. During USSR disintegration of Soviet Union's collapse, United States of America and United Kingdom, a leader of capitalistic bloc, promised Russia, successor state of USSR, that alliance would not expand eastwards or towards Russian borders even an inch. But in 1999, Czech Republic, Hungary, and even Poland were Soviet Unions or socialist blocs. NATO's counterpart was pact headquartered. All former USSR allies joined NATO. This was the betrayal with its own promise that deepened the gorge of trust deficits. In 2004, 7 more Eastern European countries joined alliance. Even Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, all sharing borders with Russia. NATO expanded its influence, integrating more members in its organizational structure. Now, Sweden is said to be its 32nd member. NATO, as Cold War organization, is not an inspiring institution in a globalized world order. In 21st century, as USSR, its military organization was effect had been no more. 21st century, AI dominated, artificial dominated era, addressing Industrial Revolution 4.0, along with in backdrop of global warming, climate change, induced ecological collapse, biodiversity crisis, catastrophic anthropogenic mass extinction, extremism, terrorism, crime against women, cultural conflicts, civilizational conflicts. In this backdrop, NATO, as an influential organization, can mobilize resources, physical, digital, financial, social, political, ecological, and create synergy to emerge evolve partnership that can address these existential threats on our blue planet's ex- existence, or a dignified way for nations' sovereignty and integrity in a globalized world order. This role will be intergenerational heritage or asset for humanity, for NATO as an organization. That's all.